So rock music hasn't been culturally cool for a very long time, and it's not because the music is bad, it's because the platform that made rock feel larger than life completely disappeared, and nothing ever truly replaced it. So, if you ever wondered why modern rock feels invisible and why it doesn't carry the same weight or mystique it once did, stick with me because I think there are three big reasons why, and once you see them, you really can't unsee them. There are still amazing bands making incredible music today. The talent is not the issue, the songwriting's not the issue, passion isn't the issue, but rock just doesn't have the same aura that it used to. Something fundamental changed, and it has way more to do with the presentation, the platforms, and exposure than it does with the actual music itself. First, and probably the biggest reason, is MTV. So back in the 80s and 90s, MTV wasn't just a musical channel, it was the mothership of music culture. Getting a video on MTV meant that you made it. Bands weren't just releasing songs, they were being introduced to the world as characters, personalities, and almost mythological figures. They had a look, an attitude, and a lifestyle that people wanted to be a part of. You didn't just hear the music, you saw it, you felt it, and you absorbed the world around it. Think about videos like Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit, or even seeing videos of Soundgarden backstage smoking a cigarette and just talking to the press. Watching those didn't just make you like the song, it made you want to live in that world. Rock wasn't just a genre, it was an identity. It was a way of carrying yourself, and it was an attitude. And what made MTV so powerful was that it didn't invent the cool, it just captured it. The camera followed the culture instead of manufacturing it. Bands were on tour, living their lives, and MTV showed up to document it. Nothing felt overly polished, nothing felt forced. Seeing bands hanging out backstage in ripped jeans, smoking before a show, giving awkward interviews, joking around just like regular people, that's what made them feel real, but also larger than life at the same time. You weren't just watching content, you were watching moments. And that shared experience really mattered. Everyone was watching the same thing. Everyone knew what video just dropped, and everybody knew which band was blowing up. There was a communal sense that something important was happening, and rock music lived at the center of that. But then, MTV completely disappeared from music. And when that platform went away, rock didn't just lose exposure, it completely lost the main stage. Nothing stepped in to replace that sense of spectacle, mystique, and just shared cultural presence, and this is where things really start to shift. Social media flipped the entire dynamic. Bands today don't wait to be discovered, they chase the camera. And back then, bands were almost trying to avoid it. Now they're running straight toward it. Every post, every clip, every video is optimized for attention, for clicks, and for likes, and just for engagement overall. The algorithm decides what gets seen and what doesn't. That laid-back, organic vibe that rock once thrived on, it is completely gone. Authenticity used to be the spectacle, but now the spectacle is the goal, and authenticity has to be manufactured. MTV disappearing isn't the only reason that rock feels frozen in time. The second big reason is classic rock radio. If you turn on classic rock today, you'd really think that music peaked somewhere between the late 60s and the mid 80s and then just completely stopped. It's the same songs, the same bands over and over and over again.
Thank you. We're
102.3.
If you have any requests, shout them out. Play that same song. All right, same song. Here we go.
Listen, those songs are classics for a reason and they're incredible, but when that's the only version of rock that gets mainstream exposure, it sends a very clear message. And that message is nothing important has happened since. Entire generations of rock music, especially from the 90s and 2000s, are treated like footnotes instead of legacy eras. Bands that defined an entire generation are rarely framed as classic, and newer bands aren't framed as important at all. So if you're younger and every example of great rock music is older than your parents, how are you supposed to see this genre as alive? Rock doesn't feel current because the places that are supposed to represent it are completely stuck in the past. And that leads directly into the third reason: rock has lost its sense of destination. Back then, rock had a clear sense of progression. You started in a local scene, you played clubs, maybe you got college radio support, then regional radio, then national radio, and then MTV. There was a ladder, and there was a goal, and there was a place where you were trying to get to. Everybody knew what making it looked like. Now, there really isn't one. There's no singular moment where a band arrives, no shared stage where culture gathers, no clear step that says this band matters now. You can go viral one week and disappear the next. You can have millions of streams and still feel invisible. You can be incredibly successful on paper and completely absent from the cultural conversation. That lack of destination hurts rock more than almost any other genre because rock has always thrived on mythology. It thrived on the idea that bands were climbing towards something bigger than themselves. When there's no finish finish line, the journey stops feeling epic. And because there's no destination, everything becomes short term. Instead of building eras, bands chase moments. Instead of growing mystique, they're expected to constantly be present. Instead of disappearing between albums and letting anticipation build, they're pressured to post, engage, explain, and perform non-stop. Mystery used to be a part of the appeal. Absence made bands feel larger than life. Now constant visibility makes them feel ordinary. So when you put it all together, it really does just start to make sense. MTV gave rock spectacle and mystique, and when it disappeared, nothing truly replaced it. Classic rock radio froze the genre in the past instead of letting it evolve publicly, and the modern rock ecosystem removed the sense of destination that once made rock feel epic and aspirational. Now, that doesn't mean that rock is dead. It doesn't mean that music isn't good. It just means that the infrastructure around it completely collapsed. And that's why, honestly, projects like The Undercurrent matter so much to me. If the industry isn't going to introduce people to new bands anymore, then someone has to. Rock doesn't need saving, it just needs visibility. It needs context. It needs to be framed as something that's still happening right now. Let me know what you think of the modern rock landscape. Do you think that it's thriving right now? Do you think there's more that they could be doing? Let me know in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious and want to talk to you guys about this. Thanks for watching, God bless, and I will see you in the next video. See ya.